Oh, oh, oh. Dear Swami, we are so grateful to be able to meet here together in your presence today. While we are here together studying your word in your Bhagavata Vahini, we ask that you open our ears and hearts to whatever it is you want us to learn. Please speak through each one of us and help us progress in our spiritual journey. Jai Sai Ram. Sai Ram, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. We just a reminder to mute your cell phones and let's speak from the heart and listen with humility. Let us try to leave the egos outside of this discussion that will help us to learn faster, grow better. Jai Sai Ram. So, for a little review, I think last week we kind of still on chapter 31, we discussed a discourse from Swami on the three P's of purity, patience, and perseverance. We talked about what is purity, basically anything that caters to the five senses that we talked about. We talked about purity being essential for realizing divinity. And then how, in what ways can we practice purity from the space that we live or place that we live in, to eating, to relationships, to internalizing. And then eventually we did talk about unity of thought, word, and action. We continued our discussion with how in each one of us individually, what do we practice to keep away the noise and keep ourselves away from the external distractions that are there. And each one of you have been kind enough to share that, and I think that is a great way to learn from each one of you also when we are actually going through practicing what we are talking here. So that was, I think, really good, and one day I will actually put it all together in some slide form so we can actually see what we do. And then we moved along to talking about faith-based actions versus fear-based actions. I'm paraphrasing this, I know we went around, but basically the discussion led to faith and how purity is a continuous process and how it builds confidence and builds faith. And we eventually ended by saying faith is the basis of every thought, faith in whatever it is that you believe in. That's something that I think I should note out here. So that is a little snippet from last week. So if anyone has anything to add, this would be a great time. Oh, it's not showing. uh oh, what is wrong? Okay, they can hear me but they can't. Oh, is it the sharing is gone? I think so. I don't know. Oh, it's not sharing. Why is it not sharing? I don't know. Okay, anyway. Share sound share. Is it sorry about that. I'm sorry you could not see this, but I'm hoping now it should work all right. Um all right. Thank you. Thanks, Lakshmi. All right, if there is nothing else, so I just wanted to talk about what we'll be doing today. I know we still have a lot to talk about purity and the three P's, but I thought we will first start this session with with a Vedantic meditation, because this actually moves into the next part of the discussion that we should be talking about from the chapter. And this is three states of being, basically the waking, sleeping, and deep sleep. Yeah, three dreaming and deep sleep. So that is something that I think we can start with the meditation and we'll continue with the discussion. So this is by Swami Sarvapriyananda, and we will continue our discussion after this meditation. So with that, I'm going to start it. I would request everyone to follow his direction. Of course, he's given a lot of input before he starts, just like always, just being Swami Sarvapriyananda. This is that's the way he would be. So with that, I'm going to be quiet and hopefully this will start well. Okay.
This spring, winter and spring, we have been studying and talking about the Mandukya Upanishad, the Mandukya Karika, which is based on that most sacred of all mantras, the most sacred of all sounds, Om. So this meditation now is a Vedantic meditation, non-dualistic meditation on Om. You have to listen and then follow and experience it within yourself. The word Om has 3 letters in it, 3 sounds in it. A, U, and So when you combine these 3, it becomes Om. What does it mean? The letter A, it stands for our waking experience. Here you are, here we are. We have this body and we are in this world where other people are around us. Outside is the city, Manhattan. We have a life here, people, problems, prospects, a story. That is the waking life. You are the waker. The waker and the waker's world. You, the waker, and your entire waking life. This is the first letter of Om. And then we fall asleep every day, sometimes in a Vedanta class also. And then we dream. There are many dreams, some good, some bad, some pleasant, some unpleasant, a mixture. And we are in our own dreams. We don't even know it's a dream. So we are a person in the dream. It's only later when we wake up we say, oh, it was a dream. But when we are in the dream, we are ourselves there and we experience a world, a strange world, but a world nevertheless. A world conceived in our minds, which we realize later, but still a world. There's a subject and an object. So that subject in the dream is you, the dreamer. And what you experience in your dreams, that is your dream world. And all together, the dreamer and the world of dreams is denoted by the letter U, the second letter of Om. And then we fall asleep. Dreams also cease. No waking, no dreaming, deep sleep. In deep sleep, we experience a darkness. You say, I don't experience darkness, I don't experience nothing, but yes, exactly that's what you say. I experience nothing. It's an experience of absence, not an absence of experience. That darkness, that enfoldedness of deep sleep is denoted by the letter M. In English we say A-U-M, but actually the Sanskrit sounds are A, U and M. The end of Om, when it ends with the that is our deep sleep experience. No waking world, no waker, no dreams, no dreamer, just the blankness, darkness. And what are we then? Whatever we are, that is called the deep sleeper or the sleeper. That is And these are our 3 aspects which we think of ourselves as our lives. Sometimes we are a waker, sometimes we are dreamer, sometimes we are sleeper. And the whole of our life, think about it, there is nothing more than this. The waker and the waker's world, your life, the dreamer and the dream world, and the deep sleeper and the darkness in deep sleep. This is what is our life, and this is what we cycle through every day. And all of this is expressed in the word Om. But apart from these 3, the waker and the waker's world, the dreamer and the dreamer's world, and the deep sleeper and the deep sleep darkness, A, U and there is a 4th. There is a 4th. That is what Vedanta wants to tell us. You are not the waker. You are not the dreamer. You are not the deep sleeper. They come and go. You remain. Then what is the you? What is the I that remains when the waker comes and goes and the dreamer comes and goes and the deep sleeper comes and goes? What is that background awareness? What is that stage upon which this play of 3 acts is played every day? That stage, that background awareness is the real you, is the real I. It is called the fourth. Why the fourth? Because it is not the waker, the first. It is not the dreamer, the second. It is not the deep sleeper, the third. It is the fourth with respect to these three. But it is actually the one. It is the real you. It is the real I. That pure consciousness, which indeed alone appears as the waker and the waker's world, as the dreamer and the dream world, as the deep sleeper and the deep sleep darkness. That one consciousness, different from the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, and yet underlying and in and through all of them, that fourth is denoted by the silence which follows Om. What is Vedanta? Saying that I am the waker, this is our ordinary state of affairs. Saying that I am the unaffected, unchanging consciousness, ever present, experienced as the waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper. That unchanging consciousness, that I am the fourth, I am Turiya. Turiya is the term used in the Upanishad for the fourth. Don't worry, it's not just a lecture on the Upanishad. This is what you need to know to actually experience this, the fourth. That is what we shall try to do. Before we go into that, to actually be the fourth, you are the fourth, but you realize the fourth and notice and experience the fourth. Before we do that, let us settle ourselves into this, be comfortable into this Om, the three letters and our waking, dreaming, deep sleep. We shall chant it together, and with sitting relaxed with eyes closed, I shall ask, we shall mentally recreate, try to experience what it is like to be the waker. Don't look puzzled. What is it like to be the waker? Just like right now, what you are. That's what it's like to be the waker. And you know what it is like to be in your dreams. And you can recreate in your mind, simulate. Don't fall asleep. Simulate what it is like to be in deep sleep. For Vedanta to work, you must be awake and in the waking state. But reflect upon your experiences as waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. So when you are ready, remember this is just the preparation. No, the light should be on. When you are ready, I don't want people to get too comfortable. It's a warm day in Manhattan today and conducive to dozing off and sleep. So when you are ready, you close your eyes and sit relaxed and listen to my voice. Let us chant together Om. As we will chant Om, remember, vividly feel your life, waking life. Your life as you imagine it to be, as you see it to be. As we go into the ooh, imagine your dream life. Not any particular dream, just the idea that you dream and exist in a world of dreams. As we go into the final, try to mentally recreate the absolute darkness of deep sleep. Not only do you not experience anything in deep sleep, any external object, you do not dream any dreams, you are not even thinking of yourself as a person who is sleeping. There is no thought at all, no constructs at all, just a potentiality, a darkness. That is the and after which We shall have a period of silence when you think, I am the fourth, the consciousness in which the three appear. I am the silence in which Om appears and disappears. I am the consciousness in which waker comes and goes with waker's world. The dreamer comes and goes with the dream world. And the deep sleeper comes and goes with the darkness of deep sleep. I am that unchanging consciousness before the next Om starts. Let us try this. Chant with me. Silence. I am not the waker. None of the waker's problems are mine. I am not the dreamer. None of those dreams are mine. I am not the deep sleeper. That darkness is not mine. I am light, the one consciousness in which these three appear and disappear. Silence. Again. Silence. Again. Silence. In this silence, the waker is not there, nor the waker's world. There is no The dreamer is not there, nor the dreams. There is no ooh. And the deep sleep is not there. You are awake, there is no deep sleep. There is no When Om fades away into silence, it points to the real you. This real consciousness neither comes nor goes. It is the waker, dreamer, and sleep consciousness which come and go. It does not change, hence it is immortal, it is not born, it does not die. You are and forever were free of death. Death, old age, disease are of the body, not of you, the consciousness. Separation and loss are of persons, not of you, the one consciousness. Struggle, sorrow, and strife are for the person, not for the consciousness that you are. The person you think yourself to be cannot exist without you, the consciousness. But you, the consciousness, you very well exist without the person. You are that where the universe ceases to exist. Prapancha upashamam. You are peace itself, not peaceful, but peace itself, shantam. You are bliss itself, shivam. You are that non-dual reality, which appears as the dual universe of your experience, the dual universe of the waking, dreaming, and the potential duality in deep sleep. Advaitam. Again, silence. When you are comfortable, become aware that you are sitting here in the waking world. Open your eyes and manifest as the waker again. Slowly. Remember, even when you come back to this world, you are that one consciousness. Now you are playing the role of this person, the waker, with the waker's peculiar karma and life. But remember, you are ever free of this person. You are not trapped within this person. This person is not the limit of your reality. Just as an actor can come on stage and play 3 different roles, you also come on stage and play 3 different roles. You are literally the stage and the actor too. You play the role of the waker in the drama called Waking Life. You play the role of the dreamer in the drama called dream life. And you play the role of the deep sleeper in the non-drama. Not much drama going on there in deep sleep, but the potential for all drama is there. But you are ever free of all of them. When life becomes theater, Broadway, Hollywood for you, when you are not constrained, when you are not trapped, when you are not bound to suffer, then actually pleasure and pain both become drama and movie and theater for you. You can say bravo. Now this is one way of doing it. Now we shall do the second one. We have the time for that. A simpler, more direct way of accessing that fourth. Remember, waker, dreamer, and deep sleep. These are what are called in Vedanta the gross or physical world, the subtle world, and the causal world. Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Prapancha. Now, that's all these three we can experience right now in the waking, here itself. You don't actually have to fall asleep, or you don't have to imagine how it is to dream. You can experience it here itself. How? Try this. Sit relaxed, and now you have to do this with first open eyes. Look at something. Let us say, is this flower visible to you, the bud here? Is it visible? This is the highest thing I can find here, which is this one or the one next to that, whichever is comfortable. Look at it. Look at it. Become aware of it as a flower. It is an object, drishya. And the eyes are the seer of this object, drashta. It is seen, and the eyes are the seer. Become aware of this flower as the seen, and your own eyes as the seer. Next, close your eyes. You are now aware that eyes are closed. This awareness of the eyes makes the eyes themselves the seen, the known, the drishya. And what knows that the eyes are closed? The mind. So the mind is the seer now. The eyes themselves become the seen. Seer in the sense of knowing. The mind knows that the eyes are closed. Is it not? Check within. Yes, obviously the eyes are closed. What is it that says obviously the eyes are closed? That is the mind. Mind seer, eyes seeing. In the mind there are thoughts. You can try it. Say your name to yourself in your mind. I am, I say I am Swami Sarva Priyananda. Clearly that was a thought. It's a thought. And it was experienced. If it was experienced, then it is the seen. What experienced that thought? That is consciousness. You can never make that consciousness the seen or an object. Slowly open your eyes again. Now go through this process. When you look at the flower, look at the flower. The flower is part of the physical world. It is A. The first letter of Om. Using your eyes to see the flower. This experience, this is in microcosm, your experience of the entire waking life, is it not? Where you experience a world with your sense organs, with your body. So this is A, the first letter of Om. Now close your eyes. The inner world of thoughts, my eyes are closed. Emotions, how does it feel? How does it feel? Eyes are closed, I'm relaxed. Thoughts, emotions, ideas, memories, feelings, all of this is the second letter, U. And as you try to push beyond the thoughts, you will hit a wall, nothingness, blankness. Try it now. What is there beyond the thoughts? If all thoughts cease, a blankness. That is the letter And beyond the that silence, that is the consciousness which experienced the flower, which experienced the mind, the eyes, which experienced the mind. All three come and go to that one consciousness which is the silence. Once again, gently open your eyes. Here itself we will access that fourth, that consciousness. Notice the flower or anything else what you are comfortable with. Flower, drishya, object, seen, eyes, seer, subject, drashta. Eyes and flower are clearly different. That is something else, this is something else. Closing the eyes, I am aware of the eyes are closed. The eyes themselves become the object, drishya. Mind becomes the seer, drashta. Clearly the mind and the eyes are separate. The thoughts in the mind, I am Swami Sarva Priyananda or whoever, that is an object appearing to consciousness. So consciousness, I am that consciousness. And whatever comes in front of that consciousness is an object. I am separate from it. It is separate from me. That consciousness I am. Remain as that. If you get distracted, you can open your eyes, look at the flower. From the flower, become aware of the eyes. From the eyes, become aware of the mind. And from the thoughts in the mind, become aware of awareness itself. And rest there. Rest as consciousness itself. The great sage Ashtavakra sings, if at this moment you can see yourself as consciousness apart from body and mind, witness of body and mind, then at this very moment you will be free of all bondage. You will be peaceful. You will be happy forever and ever. In beautiful, simple Sanskrit, he sings, Yadi deham prithak kritya chiti vishramya tishtasi adhunaiva sukhi shanto bandhamukto bhavishyasi. If you can see yourself as pure consciousness, witness of body and mind, and rest as that pure consciousness, then adhunaiva, right now, here itself, right now, you are liberated, bandha mukta. You are happy, blissful, sukhi. You are beyond sorrow, peaceful, shanta. What we think to be our lives is Om. What we really are is the silence after the Om. When you are comfortable, you can gently open your eyes. Look down at your lap at first, don't look up suddenly. And gently look up. Enlightened, not so fast. Yes.
Okay, Sairam.
It is not just
So this is what I think we should talk about today. This is the 3 states of being. So let me just okay, why is it not going?
an exercise. It is pointing to the
Okay. So the discussion wise, I thought we should talk about this. If you all need a minute, that's totally okay. I know it was an intense meditation session, but whenever you're ready, we can start talking about what are the 4 states and why are they important to spiritual inquiry. Swami says, you are not the body, not the mind. You are the eternal Atma. Recognize this truth. And I think this is what he's talking about. But again, we can definitely talk about it. So let's start with what we understand. I know Swami Sarvapriyananda has explained to us, but if we can put it in our words and kind of just summarize it, would be a nice one. What are the 4 states? I mean, just, summarizing that, have we understood what he was talking about? Of course, we'll go through each one of the states.
You know that. That's what you wanted.
Yeah.
The waking.
Theoretically, yes. Yeah, we just heard
That's-
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
all you-
But if we don't repeat it, right, you really, yeah, what is it?
The same, like the waking state, dream state, sleeping.
Deep sleep.
Yeah, deep sleep. And then the Turi.
Yeah, Turiya. Yeah, which is the silence.
Silence.
Yeah. Yeah. Shankaranji. So,
Right? I will repeat basically the same thing.
yeah.
Well, I mean, when we are awake,
Mm.
we are seeing everything. We see the world. We see, that we are here, and we realize this is my body. My body is hurting, and all these we immediately associate. I am having this. I am seeing this, and then we say it is. Even point to the heart. We don't point there. We point to
Yeah,
the heart.
heart.
But we
Yeah.
say, I am seeing this.
Mm.
And then, you fall asleep and then you see a dream and then you say, I'm seeing everything. It seems very real. And this one of the dreams that keeps coming to me is getting lost in the airport. So, so, I know I have seen that. Even now I remember it. So that means it was real at that time, but it is really not real when you wake up. And then you don't remember that deep sleep. You remember it only when you wake up and say, I don't know, I just slept so long. I have no idea when I fell asleep, but I had a great sleep.
Yeah.
So the fact that you came back to remember that says that it is something that is happening and you are aware of it.
Yeah.
And that same thing that is aware of whatever you're seeing here, what was aware of that dream, and what was aware of the good sleep
Mhm.
is what he's calling as the 4th stage.
Right.
This is the Turiya. That's what is the subject.
Nicely put. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Anyone else?
People who have read it, they can definitely understand what he wanted to say, but people who are newcomers, I do feel it as a responsibility to clarify it. They are not 4 stages, actually. The stages are 3. I am the 4th one.
Correct.
So let's not
Agreed.
get confused
Agreed.
that
Very nicely put. Yes. Thank you.
let's not confuse that there are 4 stages. I am the drishta of Jagrat, Swapan, and Sushupti. That's why I am different. Not that there are 4 stages.
Yeah.
So I am the drishta. I am the what do you-
Seer.
seer of these 3 stages. That's why I am different. So people who
Agree.
are new, they should not feel that there are so 4 stages. And that's why it is called Turiya, because Turiya came from Chaturya, actually. Let me clarify that. Turiya word came from Chaturya. Chaturya is 4th.
Yeah.
So that's how it came, but it is not a 4th stage, please.
Very nicely put. Thank you.
Okay, so we went through the meditation.
Mhm.
The waking state, he says that is the consciousness, reflected consciousness, we can say. What does it do at this waking state? What do? We look outwards, right? We look using our mind, and we go after physical to please the senses. So that is our state, that waking state, and that goes outwards. But then in the dream state, we go inwards. What do we do inwards? That in the dream, those are all our desires, our fears, everything, whatever we cannot act out in the real world, we act it out in the dream state. We chase people, we yell at them, or we have fun with them, or whatever it is. So that is the agitated mind in the dream state. And then in the deep sleep, what happens here, there is nothing to go after. There is no objects for us to see, do, hear. So that part is quiet. And the mind also, there is nothing it is going after. So mind is also quiet. So then we have the deep sleep. There is no object in front of the consciousness to reflect. So we don't experience anything. We are in deep sleep. Next day we say we are in a deep sleep. And the 4th one, as Manojji said, it is not a state, but it is the consciousness itself. In the meditation, he pointed out that is who we are. So in that consciousness, it is there, observing all the other 3 states, but there is nothing to do there. It is the witness. So he is pointing out that that is our true nature. So that is the peaceful true nature, Turiya. I can add here that the 3, I don't know if you're going to go there, but we can associate the states, 3 states also with gunas. So the waking state, that is, it has all the 3 gunas, because we are sattvic at times and we have all the rajasic activities, and the tamasic also. Sometimes we don't do anything, or whatever, the laziness, the darkness is there. And then in the dream state, we can see easily it is the rajoguna, because full of action. Because the mind is so agitated, that is where we have the dream state. And the mind is quiet, nothing to do, then we go to the sushupti, that deep sleep. At that time, there is nothing to act upon. What he also said, that deep seed, the potential is there. In the seed, the potential to grow as a tree is always there. But just by looking at the seed, you wouldn't know it. Like that, the seed, we have the potential to act upon if the right circumstances comes. Then we will act upon it. So that is the deep sleep. So that is the tamasic. Tamasic is inertia, darkness, laziness, all this associated with that. So these are the things, our whole life is in a nutshell. That's all we do. Waking, sleeping, deep sleep, dreaming, right? We see all kind of dreams. All these are stored. That seed forms somewhere. And then the Karana Sharira, that is, and then we go to the Turiya, at that state, nothing. Only the witness, the consciousness is there. But we don't know that because we are not aware of that.
Right.
The waking moment we wake up, we are not aware of the witness state that we were in, right? So those are the different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sai.
please go ahead.
See, we went through this meditation exercise
Mhm.
and to identify the three states.
Correct.
The Turiya is always there.
Right.
And if we analyze the three states, the dream state, when we are dreaming, we don't have the option of realizing the Turiya.
Okay.
In the deep sleep also, we don't have the option. Only when we are in the waking state, we have the choice of realizing that the fourth state, or let's not call it fourth state,
Yeah.
the Turiya state.
Yeah.
So when we are awake, can we always be aware, or is there a way other than, of course, can we go through this meditation all the time so that we realize that Turiya state? Because
Right.
Turiya is the one that we are.
Yeah.
So
And that is pertinent to what you're saying, because that's why I said, why are they important? Why is it important in our spiritual inquiry?
Yeah.
We have to have that.
so all the time, if we can, all the satsang, all the discussions that we have had is all tailored towards that aspect of realizing that we are, Swami calls, we are divine, we are Atma, we are Paramatma,
are
that
love,
we are Turiya. They're all the same, in my opinion, they're all the same. We may call it different terms, but it's all the same. So the whole effort, in my opinion, is towards realizing that fourth state, or that Turiya, or that Paramatma, when we are awake, in the awake state. So that is, in essence, what I
Very
See,
nice.
that is the
Thank you.
consciousness. We cannot point it out that I am that. Then that becomes the object, right? But we can operate in a way, without consciousness, we cannot experience anything. That we understand, right? We have to have the consciousness in us to experience, to see, hear, touch, all the five senses, and the mind, intellect, everything. The consciousness has to be there. Okay. So when we have that, we don't see that, we don't realize the consciousness in a waking state or whatever.
Yeah.
It is the classic example in Advaita, the gold and the ornament. When we wear a necklace, a bracelet, or bangles or earrings made out of gold, we don't necessarily see the gold in it. We just attach to the name and form of that object. That is how we are in our waking state also. Why that is, we don't necessarily say, oh, I am consciousness, I am consciousness. No. So that is the problem. So you see the basic, what is inside the Karana, Karya, all this. This is a very heavy Advaita philosophy.
Correct.
But Swami also talks only about this only in
Yes.
different way. So it might
So,
be.
yeah,
see,
please.
I want so taking the same thing forward, what Venkaji opened up. So ideally, Turiya should not have been mentioned at this stage. Actually, Turiya is a state of samadhi. Actually, so what is the difference in Sushupti? Also, we don't know anything. That's the state of Agyan, as Umaji mentioned. So let's clarify first. Jagrat is a game of Sthul Sharira. Let's remember that. Jagrat is a game of Sthul Sharira.
So waking is gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
The gross body.
Whatever we do is a game of
gross
the
body.
Sthul Sharira, gross.
Yeah.
Gross. Dreaming is a game of Sukshma Sharira. Man builds up is the creator.
The world. Yeah.
The world
Yeah.
and plays with it and
Yeah.
plays in it also.
Yeah.
So, so Jagrat is a game of Sthul Sharira. Swapna, dream, is a state of Sukshma
The mind,
Sharira,
yeah.
Sukshma Sharira. And Sushupti is Agyan, which Umaji just mentioned.
Yeah.
Sushupti is the
Is
game
in
of that
sleep
Agyan,
is-
the
yeah.
third one.
Is
Is third one.
ignorance. Yeah.
So I am the Drishta of Jagrat, Swapan, and Sushupti.
So you are
Awakening
the seer of all three.
the three stages.
Yes.
That's why I'm different. So Turiya is basically elevating ourselves when we do the Samadhi and elevating to Savikalp Samadhi, Nirvikalp Samadhi, and Turiya, that state. So there is so when we are doing the Samadhi, so it is one has to be conscious about it. So it cannot be when we are gone, like we are in deep sleep.
Yeah.
So it has to be done
Consciously done.
consciously. That's
Intentionally.
intentionally.
Yeah.
Doing it as Venkatji perfectly mentioned. So it cannot be done in all other stages. It has to
Yes.
be. It has. So what is the difference? In Sushupti also there is nothingness, and we have to reach to that stage of nothingness when we are awake.
Right.
Practicing of the state of nothingness when we are awake and being a drishta of it also. So the way they explain it is in Sushupti, there is Agyan, complete Agyan, the tamas. And in Turiya and Samadhi and Nirvikal Samadhi, these are all stages of elevated when we are conscious and there is full Gyan.
Yeah.
That is the only difference between
Complete
Turiya,
knowledge. Yeah.
complete knowledge, complete
Yes.
knowledge versus no knowledge.
Yes.
So that's why that's how these things are different. So it is a state of conscious and awakeness.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to, if we look at an analogy,
Right.
it's like when we are watching a movie, you don't look at all the things that are happening in the screen, but you focus on the unchanging screen.
Okay. Mhm.
So that is essentially what we have to do to realize that Turiya. So in other words, if you are focusing on all the things that are changing, that is basically the waking state.
Right.
So, and if you turn off the light, that is equivalent to deep sleep. Nothing is going to happen. You're not going to realize the thing. Nothing is going to be visible. The screen also won't be visible. So in order to see the screen, the light has to be on. And the moment the light is on in a movie theater, some screen, something will be going on all the time. The effort is to look beyond all that and look at the unchanging screen. That's what I mean.
Very nice. Yes. Thank you.
Also, the screen is not affected by the movie it is played. There is a storm, there is a flood, car chasing, whatever.
Yeah.
The screen is never affected.
The only difference would be that screen is different from us. In this case, I am the screen.
Yeah.
I am the.
Yeah. Yeah. We are the screen. Yes.
So I just want to walk back
Yes.
a little bit. I think we are getting very high in the top. So
Yes.
let's go step by step. That's what Swami took us through. We are looking at this world, and what are we doing? We are looking at this world, we are looking at everything. First of all, the easiest one, of course, is the eyes. So he only did that. Close your eyes, and now you don't see the object.
Yes.
And now your mind, the other things are still active.
Yeah.
It is trying to listen to the sounds that are coming. It's listening to the smell coming from the kitchen there.
Yeah.
And then, the touching, and all these are still active. And then, we begin to realize when you go to sleep, these things are not active. That is the next stage. So only thing that's active is the mind. So when the mind is active, it is creating, like Manoj
pointed
out, it's creating the dream.
The world.
And just the mind is working on it. And then the mind also stops working. Then you go into the deep sleep mode, and we don't know. At
Right.
that point is the absence of anything. That's all we can say. So the only place where you can really think about all of them together is
Is
in
the waking state.
So that's
Yes.
what I think
Venkatji
Venkat
was
was
saying.
trying to point out. So I think we need to keep that perspective, in mind. And why meditation is important is to remain here and then go back and think about it. That the fact that we are able to see, if the object is there, it's only the light from the object that is really coming into the eye. The eye is interpreting it into an object. The
Right.
object is not getting into your, into your body.
Correct.
So like that, every thing is actually happening initially in the mind. And then when you close everything, the mind, then you are looking at the mind. You are looking only at the thoughts going on. And I think, so then that takes you to the next level, next.
So,
Sure, yeah.
coming to that, right? You said that. So how does identifying only with the waking state limit our understanding then? It's okay because in waking state, oh, I know I'm awake and okay, there might be other things, whatever. Why do we need to understand it?
Let's not confuse here. So
Hmm.
these three stages are being explained to have the understanding that we are different from all these. Just to understand it. Everything else will happen, the understanding and spiritual elevation, everything is all going to happen in alert state only. So this is being explained to understand that we are different from all these stages. The true I is different from all these stages. So that elevation, that understanding has to come in alert state only. It cannot happen in dream or in sushupti. So that awakening, that elevation has to happen here only.
Right.
And to stay in that mode. So the
Correct.
game goes further. It will come doing meditation, or it will come and go, come
Yeah.
and go.
Yeah.
So to stay more in that mode is where we have to reach, basically, to stay in that
That's
mode.
what Venkatji was mentioning. Yes.
That-
Yes.
Sairam, again with the gunas in the waking state,
Hmm.
if the mind associates with the sattvic quality, okay, the mind in the waking state, if we practice with more
Can you
sattvic
talk?
tendencies, then we get more clarity and peace. Okay, and that will lead to contentment, okay, and happiness. If it spend the waking life, waking
In a
stage,
sattvic
yeah,
state.
in the sattvic way. Suppose we do it in more rajasic, that is full of action, then it's agitation and all this, restlessness and no happiness in it. You keep on moving the goalpost. I want to go there, I want to go there, I want to do this. There is no calmness in the mind. And then in the if we spend in the tamasic, the mind goes there. It is inertia, darkness, laziness. You don't want to do anything, and it resists the change. Anything comes in our way. I don't want to get into this. Kind of an attitude develops.
Correct.
So that's why the waking state is important. Waking, that is our life. We judge our life. We think my life is this based on in the waking stage, what all we do. Right? Who are the people we see? This is how we think my life is. Our life is, that's it.
I listened to an
Right.
analogy the other day, what Umaji just mentioned. So the saying is, if you want to see who you are, what kind of person you are, watch your dreams.
Yeah.
So dreams is a collection of what you had been collecting up here. Perception, everything, good, bad, sattvic, rajyo, tamo, whatever. If you are in the sleep, you are getting, those kind of things. So you are tamo, you are rajsi. So whatever you are doing in the daily life will be reflected in your own dreams. You can assess yourself with your own dreams. Where do you stand?
That is when we remember the dreams after we get up. Most
Yeah,
of the
that's
time, I
that's
don't
other thing.
remember
So
anything.
a restless night. So people like there were times when we don't get sleep, don't get any dreams. So
Yeah.
might be getting it, might be forgetting it.
Yes.
So that's one part of it. But if you're getting aggressive dreams, that is what you have learned in the day, in the wake state.
Right.
You have been that kind of personality.
Yeah.
Or fearful.
Yeah.
Some people wake up crying,
Yeah.
they saw bad dreams. So that's what is a reflection of what you have done in the awake life.
Yeah. So, yeah, please go ahead.
So one thing, what we just did, I just remember one thing. There are two types of students. When they take a class, there is one who will just recyclate everything into their system and throw it out into the exam when they come. but may not have understood anything. They would have just grasped it and thrown it out, just for enough to put it in the exam. And there are other students who go and try to grasp what exactly it means. For life, they will remember what they have learned. So, and what we are doing here is, whatever we have seen, we have picked up the book knowledge right now. And, they keep talking about the knowledge. We are just still on the book knowledge. We are asking these questions, but it
Oh.
has to become
Us.
that knowledge, which is removing the ignorance.
Mhm.
That has to be only through the practice. And
Right.
why the waking state and why all these are important is only in the waking state you can actually do something about it. And so
Right.
I think that's what.
So what are, yeah, sorry, Saira.
Saira. No, I just wanted to see in the waking state, we are aware of both body and mind. We have talked about it before. See, in the dream state, the body, we are not aware of the body, but we go through all the emotions and experience. I mean, emotions, and the mind is active there. So, and only in the deep state. We were talking about why when the waking state is the only state when we
Why do we
can
need-
make any effort. Why do we need to even consider? So the reason is there could be an argument saying that in the dream, what happens? So, you are aware now, you are saying that you are not this. All this is a dream. So you are different. You are talking about it. What happens in the dream? What happens in the deep sleep? So the logic there is, even in those states, you are different from that. You are
Right.
not those. It's not like that state is. So basically, to talk about the Turiya that exists through all the three states. That's the reason why.
It is important to
states,
know.
I think that's the.
So in
The dream state is very important to point out that while we were dreaming, it looks very real, right? We don't think we are dreaming. Everything is so real, even the feelings we have also. If you see a long lost relative or a dead relative, you see you are full of emotions. We experience everything, So, but then when we wake up, oh, it's only a dream, right? That is what they are trying to point out. If you use that in our waking state as an analogy, that we are seeing so many things, we are feeling everything, we are experiencing, we are enjoying happy, sorrow, whatever it is. And then they are saying, pointing out, this is also a dream. Understand that, it's so real, it looks for us, right? So that is the basic lesson there too,
so
just to be aware of it.
so
Yeah.
that is what is the
Right.
last question.
Mhm.
What parallels exist between dreams and waking life? What can dreams teach us about illusion? I mean, I know Manoj talked about being peaceful, that they reflect who we are. How does that teach us about illusion? Because Swami says both states are illusion. At the end of the day, he said, if you read what he talked about, the waking state, he said the waking state is like a mirage. What appears as real soon disappears. Do not be deluded. Then he said, life is a dream, realize it. Both dream and waking states are mental projections. Truth lies beyond them.
See, the thing is, the way I can see is, just like after the dream, when you wake up, you say, oh, it's all a dream. So then all that emotions that you went through at that time, they were all real, because when you were going through the dream, you experienced it. But when you woke up, you said it's all a dream, and then that all the things have vanished. Similarly, whatever we are going through in this life is also a dream. If we are aware of it, then we are not going to be affected by that experience. We will not be affected by that. We may still go through that experience, but we will be aware that this is all temporary. It's not going to be affected. So we will be able to reach a state of equanimity, not getting affected by whatever is happening. So we may be able to, we will still have to play the role that we have come to this in this world to do that. That role is there, we may have to become a perfect actor in that role, not getting affected by it, just like a cine actor who acts that role to the perfection. But really, after that role is over in the shooting, he's not affected by that role.
Right.
So we should also be like that.
Yeah. What can that teach us about illusion? So
So,
illusion.
I feel like, as Venkateswaran said, like when you are at the true consciousness kind of thing, like you will be able to watch all these different states, like whether it's a awake state or the dream state or the complete sleep. That's where like your true consciousness has to become like you have to be to that level of the state where you'll be differentiating all these things. Otherwise, it's all about like your perceptions and cognitions and all those things forms in your dream state, and that is where it is all about.
Okay. You asked about illusion. So we know, we all realize that when we dream something and you wake up, oh, it's not real. So we can see the illusion. I want to quote a practical example of illusion in real life. I mean, I grew up with my cousin,
Right.
and we, right from almost from birth, we grew up together. And, everything, just what, 10, 12 years we probably lived together and, grew up together. And then, of course, we had separate lives. But then that bond is so strong.
Right.
And so now it's all real. But then, about 2 months ago, she passed away.
Right.
So now if I think about it, it's all illusion. So now we are able to see that that is an illusion, in this waking state from a real life, because it is this consciousness which was
Experience.
being experienced, that consciousness reflected through her was experienced by me. It is no longer there. And so I think that is what I call as the illusion. And
Okay.
everything that we see here, we are going to pass. So we don't know. Maybe none of us will remember, or, in that state, probably we are seeing all this, but we don't know. We cannot
Right.
relate it to that state.
Yeah.
So that is what is the illusion.
Yeah.
So,
Saira.
as Venkatji mentioned, that is the state of equanimity where we have to reach. The Hindi term of equanimity is samadhi. That is samadhi. So somehow the perception people have made of samadhi is sitting straight and closing your eyes. That is not samadhi. That's a
Physical.
yogic. That's a
That's-
yogic posture, yogic
Asana.
activity.
Yeah.
Activity. So equanimity is samadhi. The sandhi vichhed of samadhi is samadhi. Samadhi. The dhi is brain. Dhi means brain. When the mind is at stable equanimity, stable level, that is samadhi.
Right.
So that's what where we have to reach by understanding that since that was an illusion in the dream, this is also an illusion, as Shankanji mentioned, it's going to pass away. It's a false, as we elevate, we will not be affected by it as much as we are being affected now. That's what.
So until we get up from our sleep and we know we were dreaming, until we actually lose this body, become
Yeah.
shavam, that's when we will know that we were not
no,
waking.
No, we are not. No, we are getting no, we are getting.
That's what I'm asking.
No.
Parallels. I'm drawing parallels.
No, everything is all game is till we are alive.
Spirituals have the awakening, like getting up from the dream, you get that knowledge, right? Even in the Stula body,
Solar body goes, Sushma body is still around.
no, even while living also we can get nirvana, right? We can get that knowledge, we can get that self-realization. You don't have to die for just to get it. After you die also,
Let
even
me add it, what
Right.
Umaji mentioned. In fact, nirvana has to happen when we are alive.
Right.
People who will get, what's that called? Moksha,
Yeah.
they will only be eligible for that, not coming back. Who get
Yeah.
moksha during the alive state.
Right, right.
Who has seen after death?
Yeah. Even moksha, I read that there is it's not a permanent place. If any of you thinking of moksha, going there, it is a temporary place also. No, whatever you have the bank balance, Until you spend it, you can stay there. And then you will be pushed back. Then go through the cycle. So,
there
are
is no
different
way
kinds
to
of
kind of go in.
No. It's not just one time you go, you know. No, there's not. They can live for many years, depending on our good karmas and whatever.
Okay.
You can live for many, many years. But then you eventually you will come back. Eventually you will take something else, some other birth, somewhere. So that is the only thing what they say is in moksha. That is the only when we realize the Brahman, that ultimate stage when we go. If we reach, then you don't come back. But that is a really very, very last stage. That's what.
Then there is no stage.
No stage at all. It is just being.
Yeah.
Just being.
Yeah. Sorry,
That's
Sairam.
it.
Yeah, no. Only when we are in this, but I mean, that is the whole purpose why we are born. Because without birth, human birth, I mean, any birth of any form, but among that, the human birth is the highest. That's when we can have an opportunity to be in that samadhi. And when we are in that samadhi, then we reach that stage where there is no need for any more birth, because there is nothing there to achieve. But it's a game. If you look at what Swami says, life is a game, play it. So that is the game. So once you achieve that stage of complete samadhi, as Umaji said, maybe that state is called moksha.
Yeah.
But then immediately, nirvana. Yeah, and then you're going to again come back to go through that cycle.
Right,
so it is not like it's
Nothing
the
is
end.
permanent. Yeah.
It's nothing is permanent.
Yeah.
Gyan Agni Dagdh Karmani. That's the Upanishad shloka. Gyan, once we get that Gyanam, the karmas will be burnt. Karmas, so that life cycle has to stop there. We are coming back to fulfill those karmas because of the cycle of karmas.
Yeah.
Once we get the Gyanam, that itself will burn all the old karmas. That is the end of it. There is no coming back after that. Kindly, I want to clarify that point. So anything beyond, less than that will make you keep coming back. But once that thing happens, there is no coming back. The person would still be alive to bear the consequences of the karmas with which this body was made. So what maybe Umaji wanted to mention was, even after getting the complete Jnanam, why the person is still alive? Because he still has to finish those karmas with which this body was formed. But once we get the Gyan Agni, Dagdh Karmani, it is going to burn all your karmas, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. That cycle is done.
Their life. We have seen all this, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Ramana Maharishi. Even though they were Jivan Muktas, they suffered in the sense that they didn't suffer, but the physical cancer, most of them, they live out this life.
So how is knowing different from awareness? See, all of this now, after this we know, right? Oh my God, there is I am not this, I am not this. Knowing is different from awareness, right?
Definitely.
How?
Yeah, no, see, knowing is just what we have done. Okay, so we know about the 3 states and the 4th state and all that. That is the knowledge, but to experience it, to make a sincere attempt to be aware of it. So that is the awareness part of it. So whether we will be completely aware, it's a different question, but there are different stages. You have to make an attempt to be aware of it. That is what I can see the difference.
Okay.
So all these steps, meditation is one exercise.
Right. These are exercises. That's what I'm saying.
You can be aware of these, that I am different from this. And the whole thing is like a dream. That awareness you have to bring in, because most of the times we don't even realize that. We are just in with the flow, in with the emotions. When something good happens, we are joyful. When there is something sad happens, we are sorrowful. So at that time, we should tell ourselves that, no, I'm not that. I'm different. Okay, I am not that. I am not that. So
idea of this Vedanta. So knowing awareness, I am the awareness. That's what the red last line is. I am the awareness. I don't have to be aware. I don't have to know. I am the awareness. That's what we have to reach. No?
Awareness is another word for witness and the sakshi in the consciousness. Everything it is the awareness. But Bhavani didn't ask in that way.
No.
She is
Yeah.
asking about the general awareness.
The awareness,
knowing
yeah,
awareness.
knowing awareness.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
you can read about swimming in a book, okay? All about swimming, deep diving, everything. But only you jump into the water, you are aware of what all going to be
Practical aspect. Yeah.
practically.
Yeah.
So then what is that practical thing is to experience. When we experience something, we are aware of that. Either the place, the people, the situation, whatever it is. Only when we go through certain things, live the life, only it brings the awareness to us. Okay, right? That is what right, practical aspect.
yeah,
Yeah.
just going with that swimming, I mean,
Yeah.
water. Fortunately, we are already in the water. Only thing is we don't realize we are already there. Only thing is we are not realizing that we have to swim. We are just going with that flow.
Yeah.
Everything is wherever the river takes, we are just flowing. We don't even we are not aware that there is a land there that we can swim and go to that land. We are not even aware of it many
Yeah.
times. We
Yeah.
are just going with the.
Yeah. So now that we, yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
So we just wanted to go back to that moksha stage. So I feel are like I'll correlate this thing as see, Ishvara has created this whole thing with a manifestation of something like. So when we say that like all this great people like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or something like this, who are the great souls, they would have been achieved the state of okay, without Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also. If you talk about Dharmaraja, who has the complete kind of thing, like who has reached that the moksha or like the state of that thing, is if you consider that equation of that, Ishvara's equation will never be fulfilled. Like if you remove some of the souls into the removing from that equation, because it becomes the imbalance. Just like the way our equation of E equal to mc square, energy is been neither created nor destroyed. So that's where like I feel that as Umaji mentioned, it is not the permanent state kind of thing, like where it comes back. That so there is nothing like which will stay there
Forever.
as the forever. So if you can correlate all these equations, or even the Ishvara has created this whole purpose of this creation of the universe and all these things for reaching to that ultimate state, whatever is the state, he needs all these souls to be back to really do that kind of final state. So
Why would he need?
so see, otherwise, like this, there is what is the manifestation of all these things? Like we are all the manifestations of to reach towards that karana. So he would have created that thing. So I feel like there is nothing like okay. Once we do all these things in a great way, like you will be this is the end of that, and you're in the final state of moksha or something like this. So that is what my way of taking it.
I'm not sure. Yeah. So
No,
what- read?
Saira, before you read it, see, I think we are going too much about moksha when we are at the stage where we have to realize that that all these things. So that is probably what happens when we attain moksha is something that is we can talk about it, or
Yeah, we can
when
only
we reach
talk
that
about
state.
it,
I
yes.
think, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is from Sai Prashant Sairam. He said he feels the reason why Swami says we are the eternal Atma is because Atma does not have the boundaries, size, and shape as the body does. So we may compare ourselves to others in aspects of physical and material things, but comparing Atma is not seen frequently because we can't do that. We will be a standalone atom in the universe, in this universe.
Okay, Sairam. So I think this is what that I had. The last thing Swami obviously said is awareness is your nature. You're not the experiencer of awareness. You are that awareness. This was one of his quotes on awareness, and of course we will talk about awareness as a constant integrated awareness that Swami brings up. But we will talk about that in later chapters because it does come in, and we will sync that up. So with this, I mean, I don't think there is anything more to discuss here. Does anyone have anything else to add?
No, I think we have to talk about what steps we can take.
Okay, please
I
go
think
ahead.
that is
Yes,
what we should talk about
Fantastic.
because we are only I mean, we went through this
the
and we know
definitions.
that awareness is, I mean, based on your definition of
Yes.
awareness, is that's the next step. What can we do to become aware? So that is what I think we need.
I think it's already been stated in like the Vedas and stuff. It's through the 4 yogas, the Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. So that all those things added together, or even if you choose one path or the other, it'll always lead to that, be beneficial to leading to that stage of moksha.
Yeah, or awareness too. I mean, just knowing. Yeah, same thing. And the other thing that I think about how we can get into is in what Uma actually compared to the gunas. So if we are aware of how to, we may have pockets of sattvic gunas within our day, that pocket should be something that we can carry on through the day, maybe. I mean, I'm just saying in terms of the gunas, it's easier to kind of figure out where we are today or at this moment. Yeah.
Talking about these pockets,
Yes.
mathematically, let me go and say, you have a number going between the negative and positive. It's a curve,
Right.
Goes negative and positive. And so you can think of it as, you want something, you get it, you feel like, you're very satisfied, you're going, and then the next thought, I want something else comes. So here you are teaching the rest of the positive, and then the other thought comes, takes you into the negative.
Right.
In between, we go through zero. And in that zero state is where everything is, you don't feel anything. So that is the period when you buy a new car, you bring it back, and you're very happy that day. You feel so happy. Now the next thought comes, now that I have a new car, I should travel somewhere. Where
Right.
should I go? And then, the next thought comes along, and then you go back into the thing. And then
Right.
you probably satisfy that, come back to the thing. So you're crossing that zero all the time. And what this is saying is you are zero all the time. That is what you have to, that equanimity is what we need to.
You're zero all the time. Okay, nice.
But then if you say you are Pujyam, that is Purnam. Also, if you are zero,
Yeah, in
you are
Buddhism, it is
fullness,
fullness.
right?
Yeah.
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 So that, but what are the spiritual practices? That's what, yeah, that's it. There are a lot of spiritual practices are there, but then we have to have these spiritual disciplines, how do we get into that? First and foremost, we should have, I mean, we in the sense, we all have some of it. Okay. And
At some
general,
points,
in
yeah.
general, I'm saying that to have a faith and belief, have faith that there is something good will come out of it if I do the spiritual, and then have the belief that there is a higher power, so that we need to have that kind of an attitude, and the belief and faith should be there. And then we have to have humility also, that humility, because I cannot do it on my own. I need some help. I need some spiritual guidance, some, practices. So maybe that's why we are all here. Some spiritual guidance, some discipline we need. Okay. And then we have to have some that we need to have align with something. I'm going, I will stick to this practice. I will do this,
Yeah.
and participate.
Determination.
Right. And participate in a group activity like this and all, that should be there also. And then we have to have the motivation that even when we don't have any energy or motivation is low, we have to adhere to the practices that, even if the motivation is low, I'm going to do this today. Either you want to walk, you want to meditate. The mind is always, that is where again the gunas come in too, to play a role. Oh, please don't sleep 5 more minutes. Kind of a thinking,
Yeah, I'm right
See
there.
all this, right? And then
I am
yeah,
that 5 minutes.
that is kind of self-discipline also. And then we have to have the spiritual discipline in the sense we do prayer, meditation, service, and sitting in silence also is a great discipline, and all that we can do. So there are so many ways to approach this. Even before we do anything else, we should have these kind of, qualities in us to develop these things, right? Right.
Swami,
Right.
9 code.
Right,
Mm,
the service. Yeah,
service.
any one of it.
It
So
will become selfless later. He said that. First is
Right.
service.
right,
Yeah.
right. So
Bhargav, yes,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
So a question that I have is, I understand all the yogas will help you get closer to God, and it is very beneficial, but I'm not sure how it'll be at the last step when you're trying to achieve moksha, when you're trying to remove the barrier between Atman and Brahman itself, and how that realizing that you're not the mind, the body, and how those different yogas help in trying to realize those things.
The way I understand is it's like climbing a mountain. Okay, there are 3 paths. Okay, one is a bhakti yoga, and then when you climb the bhakti yoga, you see beautiful flowers, beautiful gardens. And then let's say another person is climbing the karma yoga, he sees a lot of gravel, lot of rocks around. And when let's say you have, and then another person going through the jnana yoga, he sees all a different scenario. And then let's say they all have cell phones. Each one is going to say, oh, this is different, this is beautiful, that is different, that's different. But then as you climb up, when you reach the thing, that is his question, then you will see everything same. There is no difference between bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, because they are all merging towards that same. So that is what I think is the essence of when you reach
So-
to that level of the moksha, there is no difference between which yoga you take,
Right.
because
So-
it's all going to be the same.
Yeah. So
that is
so-
your question, Bhargav. Is that? No, that was not.
yeah, I thought, yeah.
Yeah, asked it.
My question was more about the aspect of moksha where you have to realize that you are not the Atman, you're Brahman itself.
It is, the
So
answer I have is, it is just a switch. You will know at that point. It will not, the second before that, you may not know. The second after that, suddenly you realize. So it is actually a quick.
okay.
That's
It's,
not-
well, I was curious how the yogas help.
Yeah.
Good.
How
Flip
the
that switch,
yogas
essentially.
help to turn that switch on from
I feel like it has been coaching, like the gurus all will be coaching how to reach this path. Once you have been coached, you have been empowered to follow this thing. That's where like you'll be feeling that the final state. Even in our working world also, like if you put into the agile coaches and all, what they do is they empower their teams to do be as a self kind of thing. So after that, like you don't need a coach. You just have to practice these things to all those principles. What Umaji was saying, that like if you practice and follow that principles, that's where like you will be reaching to that state.
so yeah, please go
Think
ahead.
of it like all these practices do help us. It is like in those days, they went in a dirt road on a horseback. Okay, that was a path. But now we have all these beautiful roads, right? That makes, because it's an improvement, right? From where the dirt road, now we have a paved road, and with all the facilities. See, like that in spiritual practice, when we go from one practice to the other and the other, our mind, everything is related to the senses and the mind, right? When we bring them into control, we get the clarity. They help us. Then you have all this discernment, what is real, what is unreal, what is good, what is not good. Those kind of things come with the spiritual practices. then in that way, these yogas are helpful. They are helpful tools. Okay. So when we practice these things, whichever applies to you, one or all of them, doesn't matter. It is always the journey is going forward. Like the river, always, wherever it is, it goes and reaches the ocean. It doesn't change. It can change course. It can go around the rock. There is a huge boulder. Is it stopping the river? No. It will find a way to go around it and go. That kind of a dedication, that kind of determination we should have in our spiritual path, then we will ultimately go there. So in that way, the yogas and all are helpful tools for us.
I also want to just point out that there is not like one. So the yogas in any place are defined separately for us to understand and kind of segregate where we are. But I don't think that there is only jnanam or jnanam. The way to jnanam is through karma. You have to act like that. You have to meditate. That is an action.
Yeah.
That is where you will get the jnanam. You have to read, you have to study, you have to listen.
Right.
Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam has to happen. Again, that is action. So I don't think there is like just one thing to go, oh, I'm going to follow this path of karma and that doesn't happen. If karma does not have is filled with ignorance, you are not reaching anywhere. You are still going to take bribes and you go do the same thing. So again, those are, I think, each and every part you have to purify one thing at a time. Each and every part.
Yeah. Also, people who didn't read or anything like Nisargadatta, who is a realized soul. See, we don't.
Absolutely.
Some come with that. They have the realization. There are so many people. We may not know them, but there are realized
The
souls.
problem has happened because we have learned too much actually. So we have not gone step by step. That is the problem. So with bhakti or doing the karma, so first it might be with self-interest, later it becomes selfless. So
Yes.
all these things are being done for Atma Shuddhi. For the Antak, we have crossed the line already.
Oh, 3
Yeah, so
minutes.
this is all tools, as Bhavaniji mentioned, tools of cleansing your vessel so that this thing can settle down. This concept of Adhyatma Vedanta is not like, it's not easy to understand and grasp it, to get it settled. That's why all the other things are, have to be followed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Sorry.
just want to add
Last.
that,
Yes.
this is from one Swami, and when he was with the Guru, he was asking, he has been with him right from the childhood. He said, you are not giving me the real thing about, my whole goal is to find, that Brahman. That's what I'm, aspiring for liberation, and you are not teaching me that. So in the Guru, he told him, of course, you have heard this story before. He said, I will act as the student and you will be the Guru. And I'm going to come to you and ask for this. So he comes with a pot, and of course the pot has a hole. So, this is what you are. You're not yet ready.
Right.
The second part of the story is, one of the most important thing that we have to have that absolute desire to go there.
Yearning.
If you are thinking, I have seen those people are getting that, I should also get it, but not necessarily, with that yearning. That yearning is what is the most important thing. So in this particular case, many years later, he said, you are dragging me along. You're not, giving me that correct path to go. And so he said, if you're not feeling up, my whole life I have come only for this,
Yeah.
and you are not giving me that, I maybe I'll have to come to the next life. He just said, I'm going to the river in Gangotri, and I'm going to jump into the river.
Right.
And he said, okay, then go. And then he realized that this guy was serious. He went there. At that point, he said, come, now you're ready.
Yeah.
So that yearning has to be there, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
I just wanted to say, we talked about patience and perseverance.
Yeah.
And we have a Guru Purnima coming up.
Yes.
So now is probably a right time to listen to the Guru's messages and then take it. I mean, every time, any time is most
Good time.
most auspicious to start. So maybe we can take up on some sadhana. See, I don't want to take, I know we are
Yeah.
exceeded the time.
Yeah.
But the gunas is very important to realize, but it could it should not become an excuse.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. Okay. Let's end the session. Just the life application is to, again, watching or listening on spiritual topics. Venkatji correctly mentioned about listening to Swami. There are multiple videos there, and his students themselves have now, bringing out so many good videos. So again, with that, let's end with Om and Tri Shantis. I really appreciate everyone's presence here and the participation. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Today after dinner, we will practice the songs for Swami's birthday.